I want to hear your thoughts first
Well,
on this, and then I'll see where I'm at on it.
I definitely need to watch it again. I watched the trailer one time. It was late at night. I was literally crawling into bed, and I looked at my iPad and I saw it was a trailer. I was like, oh shit, there's a trailer, So I clicked it and watched it the one time, and it was like, oh okay, it's interesting. It was kind of like, okay. I mean, it didn't blow me away so much, but I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I mean, I don't understand. It looked like the Shredder was in this movie. It seems like, and I could be wrong, but it almost seems like they went a different direction with Shredder real quick. Like they did a 180. Like they were like, okay, we're gonna change Shredder. Like it didn't work the first movie. We're gonna take away the mutant, Swiss Army knife Shredder from the first movie that had fucking knives coming out of every orifice of his fucking body, which was stupid as fuck. Like that shit was so dumb. Like I don't even understand what made them think they needed to do that. Like the Shredder, being a martial arts master in himself should have been enough. The fact that they needed to put him in this Iron Man outfit with fucking knives coming out of every damn area on his body, and he was like 8 feet tall and shit. It was like, what? Why? Like, so you're saying that he's not intimidating enough as is, and he's not a worthy foe as is, without putting him in this huge fuck off machine suit with knives coming all over the damn place. That's what we had to do to make him seem like a threat to the Turtles. Is kind of what they decided, basically. And obviously, I'm sure they had a huge backlash with that one. That probably didn't go over well at all. So it looked like when I watched the trailer, I was like, okay, wait, that's a Shredder now. He seems so much more human. You know what I'm saying? Where in the first movie, he was like this fucking robot can opener, and so that was one of the things I noticed. And I mean, the Turtles look the same. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember seeing Splinter in the trailer at all.
He did it very briefly. I guess something happens to the lair again, and he gets blown up, and you see him getting blown from his middle of the lair sanctuary out into the further parts of the sanctuary. It's very brief.
Like I said in the first movie, when I watched the first movie, don't fuck with Splinter, okay? Like, let's just put it out there. Don't fuck with Splinter. Don't do this bullshit where you're gonna like try and kill Splinter off, and they're gonna be on it the moment you even think of killing Splinter. Your movie is done. Like it's a wrap. Yeah. Don't even entertain the idea of killing Splinter. So let's leave the whole lair thing alone. Let's not even go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's leave Splinter alone. Like, I feel like they went too far in the first movie where they almost killed him off.
They did.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that was too much for me. I was even though it was at the end of the movie, I was like, okay, if you kill Splinter, like, I swear to God, if you kill Splinter, I am so done with this movie. Like, this is not gonna work for me. So when I wasn't sure if I saw him in this movie. I was like, okay, they're fucking with Splinter again. He's like not gonna be in this movie. They're like gonna not have him at all. They're gonna come up with some weird, stupid idea why we shouldn't have Splinter at all in the movie, which is gonna piss me off. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, I definitely want to see another trailer. Like what I saw was like, okay, it was cool. I mean, you know, what was it? Bebop and Rocksteady. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was cool that they brought him in. Whether they look awesome, you know, I mean, they definitely look like the characters from the cartoon. They definitely didn't take any artistic, you know. They definitely didn't go like, oh, we're gonna do our own version.
Yeah, they went it on the narrow. Yeah.
Like, with the Turtles, they took some fucking liberties with the Turtles. You know what I'm saying? They said we're gonna do something different. Yeah. You know, we're gonna add our little flair to it. Okay, cool. Bebop and Rocksteady, they didn't do shit different. They went exact to the way they looked in the cartoon, which I thought was like, wow, that's interesting. Why did you go exact with these guys? You know, okay, whatever. So yeah, I mean, it looked, you know, okay. I'm peaked. Let me see another trailer. You know, but that being said, what did you think about the trailer?
Man, I mean, there are so many areas of wrong that's happened with that trailer and with the first movie.
Oh, gosh.
it's just there's a lot there.
There's a whole episode
I will
worth.
go and say what's that?
There's a whole episode worth. We can do a whole episode just on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
We sure could. I'll try to keep it as simple as I can. We definitely could. But before I get into it, I just have to say that, you know, I admire everything that Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird did to take their dream and bring it to us. Because they did not know what they had when they were creating it. They were doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And they were really just trying to do something, creative, and it grew into a lifelong passion for them and a foundation for them to do other things they wanted to in their life.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect for that. I met Kevin a few years ago. I had the pleasure of working alongside him, kind of across from him. I was working with a publisher. We were at San Diego Comic-Con together, and he was running heavy metal at the time. And we basically were there across from each other for the whole week at San Diego Comic-Con, and it was a great time to get to talk to him, meet him. He had him sign some of my things as well, and he's a great guy, at least from what I've spoken to him and what I've seen of him. So when they say they like something and they appreciate something, you know, Kevin usually signs off kind of with things that have been done, and you know, of course, yes, I know there's some political things there, like, you know, I'm getting paid to say something. Maybe. I don't think Kevin's that type of person, but I understand that he's allowing other people to create. And it also goes back to the thing of they already created what they wanted to see. They created what they wanted to see when they made their books. Mm-hmm. That's what they did. So with people taking liberties with their ideas and making it something new, I understand why they would probably say, yeah, that's cool. I like what they did there. Or I enjoy that because that's their baby. They have final say on what they really appreciate. Mm-hmm. I guess with me, it's one of those things where, as a fan, you know, we sometimes look at things and we see even further down the rabbit hole with these creations, mm-hmm. and where they can go or where they kind of keep on our heart a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I started on with the Turtles when they were in the comic book form before they became the 80s cartoon. Yeah. So I was very, very young, and I was able to see the very gritty original idea. And then it was kind of watered down for the children and became very goofy and very zany, mm-hmm. for the 80s, and then it's kind of had some reboots and some new stuff since then. Yeah. So just I wanted to set that aside so people knew from my perspective where I'm coming from. I want to see new things, and I'm happy that we're seeing these things, yes. Yeah. A big fan of the IDW comic book series that's out that Kevin's been involved with. I cannot urge enough people out there to read that in volumes, and in volume 12 of graphic novels. Okay. Brilliantly done. Also, the Nickelodeon television show, wasn't a big fan to begin with because I just really wasn't into the 3D type of aspect. But as I continued to watch it, amazing show there. Very fun. Yeah. But as far as the movies go, just an extreme letdown to me. And I know that Kevin likes them, and I think Peter likes certain things with them, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I mean, the second trailer, like you said, they got Viva Rocksteady perfectly spot on. How can they take characters that already have nostalgia and make it spot on, but yet completely destroy the Ninja Turtles in the way they look? I tell you what I love about. I'll tell you the things I love about the movies, because there's elements I love about them, but not enough for me to love the franchise of those types of movies, if you will. I love the fact that they gave the Turtles their own personalities by their clothing and the way they look. I love that. I've always thought the Turtles need to have a little more standout of what they like and who they are. Do I like the fact that that some of the vehicles they used, the lair, all that was great. Do I enjoy the fact that they cast Stephen Amell as Casey Jones in this new one? I love Arrow, so I'm excited to see him play that character. Yeah. However, he's too pretty for it. I mean, the character's not meant to be a pretty boy hockey player. He's a ragtag beat 'em up type guy, kid. Crazy on top of it all. And I like the fact that, again, it's revitalized the thing. But as far as other things in the movies, these turtles are so big, they're so lumberous, that everyone's going to see who they are, and they're ninjas. Mm-hmm. They're not meant to make, how can you be a ninja when you're almost 8 foot tall?
Yeah, I mean, Raphael's huge.
Stacked, and then on top of it all, they're bulletproof, apparently, from the first movie. They learned how to fight ninja skills from their father, this Splinter, teaching himself out of a book, having no one to spar with. no one to teach ancient mastery of. This is the storyline they chose to go with. It's just sad, man. I mean, it's sad to have so many different people trying to manipulate a story to get it into something's hands when they already have it there. Just give it some nuances. In the new trailer, we've got, like you said, you got Bela Rocksteady, we've got Casey Jones showing up, we've got Baxter Stockman in it now. Tyler Perry's playing Baxter Stockman, which he looks like the counterpart of the 80s cartoon, you know, African-American version with it, and I'm fine with that. I think that's cool. Let's see where he goes, you know. The Turtle Van, the new Tortuga Brothers Turtle Van that's made out of a garbage truck, awesome. I will buy that toy. I think that's a great idea. That's logical as well. I'm excited to see that. But then I start watching this trailer and I'm saying, when did Transformers get in here? Oh, yeah, that's right. Michael Bay produced it. And then you got the fanboy rage that says, no, it's not. He didn't produce it. He didn't direct it. He's just producing it. He has his hands on all of it.
Exactly.
He signs the checks.
Exactly.
So, you know, he's going to make sure that he has what he wants, his elements in there. No matter if the director doesn't want it or any of the designers don't want it, he's got the final say on it along with the additional parts of his company, Platinum Dunes. So when you see the sky opening up, and which we know is, of course, going to be Planet X, you know, Dimension X, and, you know, Crane and all that coming into the picture. But you see these parts coming out, which I believe are parts to the Technodrome.
Okay, yeah.
I believe that they're in separate components that will be put together to make the Technodrome. But they look like the ships from Transformers a little bit.
Yeah.
The Transformer ships, you know? The thing with Shredder. Shredder's in the movie again. We know that he took that little bit of mutagen from the first movie on his finger. Apparently that restored his hair. Apparently that got rid of all the scars on his face.
Yeah, on his face, exactly.
Made him shorter.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot shorter. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
I mean, of course, the arguments they come, well, you believe in Ninja Turtles, you can believe that a human can be restored to that. But yeah, hey, let's go with it. Good.
Yeah.
Karai's been replaced with a new actress, different person. Megan Fox, my goodness, Megan Fox.
Oh, well, you know.
You know, it's not April O'Neil. Apparently, Judith Hogue, who played April in the 1990 series, is going to be making a cameo as her boss. Megan Fox's character is April O'Neil's new boss.
Oh, really?
So that's kind of a homage thing, yeah. And then, of course, you got Casey Jones with Steve Amell. And we'll see, man. I mean, I don't think it's going to be amazing, but I don't think it's going to be... Well, I'm not going to say this because I've been proven wrong before on that. It can't get worse than the first one. And I bet you it probably can.
Which sucks.
The first one, I can't watch it, man. It's just unwatchable.
That sucks. That really does. I mean, you know, I remember the original movies when I was younger, and to me, honestly, I can't go back and watch the original movies. When I was younger, it was like, oh, this is awesome. But now, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there are some movies that you can go back now and watch and go, even though it was corny, it's corny now. Because, you know, when it came out back when you were a kid, you're like, oh, wow. But now you're able to still watch it and go, oh, it's corny, but it still has that thing. For me, there's something about the old Ninja Turtles movies that I look at it and it just makes me want to throw up in my mouth. I just, you know, we had that phase where we went through with the costuming and the prosthetics. Back when they had that TV show. Remember that TV show, what was the name of it? The Dinosaur Show?
It was Dinosaurs, which was and then they also did the Turtles version of that, and they did, what was it, the Next Mutation? Yeah. Ninja Turtles, The Next Mutation, which was like on with Power Rangers.
Yes.
And it was a live-action suit-up one, Yeah.
They had an episode where Teenage Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers were in the same episode together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I remember that, yeah. I mean, the same people did this costuming, and that's the thing that bothers me. I mean, okay, cool, yes, you know, people were like, well, you know, it was back in the day, things were different. Oh, I understand, but you know, at the same time, I feel like there was a certain level of, I don't know, I feel like there was a certain level of artistic, you know, like that they just didn't care to, you know, they just did. Okay, what can we do that's gonna, like, you know, we'll make a suit and we'll put somebody in it and people will just buy it. And at the time, it was buyable. It was like people didn't really say much about it. It was like, okay, it is what it is. Right. Now when I look at it, I'm like, this is so fucking corny. Like, this is so corny. Like, they're like, you were talking about the new Turtles being so big. Well, back then, not only they weren't nearly as big as the new Turtles, but their heads were fucking massive. Like, their heads were huge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they had the same whatever that material is that Michael Keaton had.
Foam latex material. Yeah,
that Michael Keaton had in the first Batman, where he couldn't turn around and look to see what was behind him without turning his whole body. Where he looked like he had a crink in his neck because he couldn't turn his neck. It was that same weird material. So, I mean, I look back on the old movies now and I'm just like, oh, man, I can't do it. Like, I just can't. Like, I can't even stomach it anymore because it's so non-believable. Now, okay, fast forward to the new movies. What you're saying makes sense. It's spot on with what you're saying. Makes complete sense. I understand it, and I definitely understand where you're going. Where you're going. Unfortunately, even if they were to take what you're saying into play and bring them down, not make them so big, and bring them down to a more manageable size, you know what I'm saying? They're so much more viable for me than the original movie. Yeah,
and I can understand that. I mean, I definitely understand that. I love the first movie in 1991. I don't like the second or third one.
Yeah.
I like the first one just because of the nostalgia for me.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were able to capture that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the one that stays in stasis for me a little bit creatively, and as a kid, that takes me back to that.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's a lot of those older ones that I really didn't appreciate, but I knew they had to be done to kind of get through the process of creating something we love.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It'd be different if these movies were brand new, and the other ones had never been done or nothing had ever been attempted before.
Yeah.
But because you have things that have been attempted before, and to use as kind of a gauge with your audience, along with books and games and what have you, then you have a wealth to pull from to get it right. You really do. You can get it right.
But
it's not like you're coming in from the beginning and saying, okay, there's nothing to go off of with these books. And they're very loosely understandable. And we're not quite sure if this is going to translate because of they're violent and they're a little more, it's not really for kids. So how do we do this? That I can understand.
Yeah.
But like I said, you have all this wealth to pull from, and you still can't get certain things right. It bothers me a little bit. Do I like them? Yeah, I like the way they look. I still don't disagree with the way they look.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were picking and choosing about the nostrils and the fact that being big or not, that's one thing. And if we take all of that away, like the little nitpicking things as a fan, I'm trying to say, which again, it doesn't make me right or wrong. It's just these are the things that I look at.
Yeah.
But if you strip all of it away, there is no excuse for a bad story.
Yeah, the story is the biggest thing.
If you take all that stuff out of the equation, the way they look, the characters, what have you, just make a good story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Make a good story, and those things will present themselves in a way that people, even if they don't enjoy the way they look a little bit, will enjoy the film, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
And I think they failed on that both ways.
Yeah, the story is their biggest Achilles heel. So far.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing is you saw. I'm pretty sure I showed you that video on YouTube of those guys who did that homage to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was that action sequence where they were like sparring. It was the four guys. And they were sparring.
Great. Yes, absolutely.
You saw that. Why is it?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Why is it that? Okay, now we talk about the original movies and the nostalgia of the original movies, but even then, I mean, if you really want to nitpick, even those movies didn't get it 100% right. You know what I'm saying? There was nostalgia to it.
No.
It's the same nostalgia that the young kids nowadays are going to have for these movies. You know what I'm saying? It was just the nostalgia of having it on the screen and seeing it in a live action and going, wow, that's it. You know what I'm saying? There's the nostalgia of it, but still they never got it 100% right. Why is it that a YouTube video that had no special effects, no costuming, for me personally, were able to get it closer to what I felt the essence of those four brothers, you know what I'm saying, and what they had, as a team and as a family. These guys were able to like capture that in like a 15-minute video with no special effects, whereas Hollywood has yet to be able to capture. How is that even possible?
Yeah. No, you hit it on the nail right there, man. They encapsulated everything. They emoted everything. You knew which turtle it was. It just, That's because these characters, even though as cheesy and as outlandish as they are when you think about mutant turtles that are eat pizza and fight ninjas and are ninjas themselves, because the core of them are still human in those understandings.
Exactly.
That's why I like the IDW books so much, because Kevin has taken the old comic, the old cartoon, even some of the 90s movies, and some of the newer stuff, and he's put them all together to create an origin lineage for these characters that is still new in areas, and merge them all together to have a whole new experience of the Ninja Turtles that crosses every story arc, every possible arc, and it's brilliant. So if the creator of these original Turtles can do that years and years later, with just being able to create what he wants and have fun with it, to sign his name on, so to speak, and do what he's always wanted to do, then again, like you said, why can't, if he can do it, these YouTubers can do it, why can't Hollywood do it?
Yeah, that's the biggest
thing. Too many
thing.
hands in the pocket. Too many different things trying to... It's the same thing we talked about earlier with Star Wars and marketing.
Yeah.
Influence versus story narrative.
Yeah.
At what point are you marketing to the demographic of the kids and the young adults that you want to sell your merch to?
Yeah.
Versus trying to tell a story for the sake of actually having it last the test of time creatively.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a merchandising thing. You could tell it's all merchandising. It's all about selling toys. But that's a simple thing. Like the thing about that video from YouTube with those guys, and I wish I had it so I can tell people to go look at it, but go check it out. It's like inspired by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video, and these four guys, martial artists, they do this thing. The funniest thing about it is there's no dialogue in the whole freaking 15-minute video. So in this video, it's all soundtrack and it's all sound effects, and they're able to, like you said, they're able to show you who's who, you know what I'm saying, through their fighting styles, through their emotions. They're able to show you who's who. They're able to show you the differences in their personalities and their fighting styles. They're also able to show you the camaraderie that they have. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get everything that there is about the Turtles in that little 15 minutes with no dialogue. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how the hell, like, can these guys get it? And these men, Hollywood, millions of dollars, get paid millions and billions, can't seem to get the simplicity of the Ninja Turtles. It's such a simple thing. Like, that's the thing. Like, even someone like yourself, when you talk about the original comic books, people would think about it, go, okay, Ninja Turtles or mutants and blah 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 blah. It sounds so complicated. The thing that makes Ninja Turtles so awesome is the fact that it's, when you break it down to its core, it's simple. Like, it's just so simple. It's four brothers. You know what I'm saying? It's a family. It's four brothers who decide that they have a responsibility to protect others. It's simple. Like, it's just, there's nothing complicated about it. It's just so simple. These four guys, whether they're mutants or not, who have different personalities and how they bond together to protect other people. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to make it so much more than it needs to be. Like, oh my God, what can we throw at this to make it so much more complicated? I feel like if they just brought it down to what the core of what the characters and the story is, which is what the comic books do and the graphic novels do, then it wouldn't be so hard to freaking make a movie that was awesome. You know, I don't. It's like, good grief, people. Like, how can you how can you make an awesome Batman movie? How can you make an awesome, like, I mean, there's been awesome Avengers movies. You made an awesome Avengers movie where you had multiple superheroes in one movie and you were able to make it awesome, but you can't make one movie with four guys and make it awesome.
No. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And speaking of, you were talking about that, what you're talking about, I believe that it's Epic Rival. It's TMNT style Ninja Turtle homage Epic Rival.
Yes.
You can go to Riven X31. I think it's the YouTube.
Yeah, that's
and you can find that video, or just look up Ninja Turtle homage by Epic Rival, RIVAL. And you should be able to find it. Yeah, it's really cool.
They got a bunch of other videos that they do too. They got some of their own original stuff that's pretty interesting that they've done that I've checked out. Which they're a pretty cool group. martial artists and stuff like that, and they create their own little videos that they do, and they have their own storylines that they make videos of, and it's pretty cool. These guys are really, really talented. But honestly, like you talked about with, and it was funny because you brought it up earlier where you talked about seeing the Star Wars thing and having that moment where you teared up and started crying, and you didn't realize that you had such a thing for these characters. You had no clue that you really had such an emotional connection to these characters until all of a sudden you're tearing up. I watched that turtle movie, that turtle thing, the 15-minute homage, and I was tearing up watching that. I think I watched it like 6 or 7 times in a row, and I literally teared up every time I watched it because I felt like, holy crap! Like these guys, they got it. Like it was something about what they did that hit me. It was like, this is so freaking cool. Like I was inspired again. You know what I'm saying? From like I was when watching the original, like back in the days. It was like these characters inspired you. It was like you wanted to have those 3 other brothers and be like, I want to play with my brothers and go out and be freaking awesome. Oh
yeah.
And
well, I mean, the Turtles helped me in a lot of ways. I mean, Turtles and Transformers are like my 2 top tier fandoms. Like that's where my heart is with those. And there's a lot of reasons for both. But just real quick to add to what you're saying, like I was bullied a lot growing up. I dealt with a lot of conflict growing up, and because of my weight and the way I looked and a lot of things like that, like most children off and on do nowadays, even still sometimes worse nowadays. Yeah. But watching the Ninja Turtles along with other type of martial arts stuff, I picked up, martial arts and I picked up nunchakus and training with it, between the ages of 13, 14, 50 because of Michelangelo and those characters in the story. And I learned and purposely learned how to utilize those weapons and utilize the katas and different types of things that I was dealing with when I was being trained shortly. Yeah. With that, again, I'm by no means a master, but I learned how to protect myself and I learned how to become more disciplined with something. And it's all because of the Turtles, watching the Turtles on cartoon and reading the book. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks that the 2 things that are your favorites from childhood are both being helmed by Michael Mann. Oh, Michael Bay. Yeah. Michael Bay, I'm sorry.
These Bay formers are killing it.
Both the things that you hold so dear are both in the hands of Michael Bay.
Yeah, and I think he's got his hands on Thundercats next.
Don't say that.
So,
don't say that.
Apparently Platinum Dunes is doing Thundercats too, so...
Why? What, like, come on, really? Like,
yeah. Like, I hope I'm wrong. I hope some talks break down or something changes hand, but apparently that's what's happening. So.
Number one, why? Why does Michael Bay want to do this? Like, you would think after doing, Transformers, then the Ninja Turtles, he'd be like, okay, I'm cool. Let's go do something else. Let's let somebody else do the 80s remakes now. Let me go do something else and make something else go happen. Like, why does he keep trying to grab up all these? I mean, okay, maybe I don't know how old he is. Maybe they hold some place in his heart too. Possibly, I don't know. Maybe I don't know how young he was back in the 80s. Maybe he watched the stuff too. I don't know. But at the same time, the guys who are making this, who own these properties, like, are they all under the same umbrella of, he's doing great with all these properties? Like, would he did Transformers, he did Ninja Turtles, and it's now he's coming to your property, you own Thundercats, he's knocking on your door, what do? You go, nah, dude. You know what I'm saying? We're good. We're gonna go with someone else.
I guess the natural social outcome of it is people have enjoyed watching those movies. They spoke with it with their wallets. I mean, the Transform movies were very high grossing, extremely high grossing, and no matter what, it just goes to show what type of moviegoers sometimes we have too. Not saying everyone, but people are going to take and see these things, and and what I'm thankful for is it definitely revitalized the toy and the idea. That's what I'm saying. If I had to take away anything from Michael Bay doing anything with these movies, was number one, Peter Cullen being the voice of Optimus in the original Transformer cartoon being brought onto the movies.
Oh yeah.
The closest thing I could get to seeing is a real Optimus Prime, and feeling that as a kid again. But revitalizing the toy genre again for the name brand of that. I mean, because we've gotten a lot of spin-offs. We've got video games that were really amazing from it. We've gotten, a couple of new cartoons that's come out from it. Same thing with Turtles. So I have to say I'm thankful for that. If it wasn't for that, we'd still have the feverish outcome of people wanting to be involved with those types of brands. Yes, but not as much. Not as feverish,
That's true.
So
that's true. I mean, I'll admit, Transformers derailed, but I'll admit the first one that he did. Like you talk about having a certain level of nostalgia. The first one will always hold a level of nostalgia for me. The first time I sat in a movie theater and Optimus Prime transformed and spoke. Like, I think I lost my mind.
Kid, man. I teared up. I did, man. I teared up.
Yeah. Seriously, I lost my mind. Like, that was one of the coolest moments ever on movies for me when that happened. And the fact that he did get the original voice, and I was like, oh, wow, this is unfreaking believable. So after the fact, the movies went the way they did, okay. But the first one, man, like, he nailed that first one for me personally. It was freaking awesome.
And I have to say, too, the soundtrack was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
The soundtrack was good in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
They were very good. The scores themselves were really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, that aside, apparently they're doing 5 more Transformer movies, and I guess Mark Wahlberg's coming back for the second one. The sixth one, I think,
So Wahlberg's coming back for the next one.
He's coming back for the 5th one, and then apparently they've got a good writer group on right now. They got Robert Kirkman from The Walking Dead and Invincible comic. He's on the board with the writers. As one of the writers, and there's 4 other major ones that are on the team from comics as well as games and movies.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see where they're taking a lot of this, and hopefully they're going to bring some better life into it. I hope. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see.
I still haven't seen the last one with Wahlberg.
Again, anything I say may get a lot of people out there upset with me being a fanboy, but the story just was not there. It wasn't there. I'll let everything else go by the wayside, but the story was horrible. Yeah. I was excited to see Grimlock, because he's another one of my favorite Transformers.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, he's a goofy, belligerent type character that was never really smart in the cartoon, but in the comic books they made him very much a warrior and a general, and they made him very smart. And he was a different type of character, and I was hoping to see that, but you only see the Dinobots in the movie for about 10 minutes towards the end, if that.
Oh, jeez, really? Wow.
Yeah. They marketed Extinction, and you're going to see the Dinobots, and then you only get them for about 10 minutes, and they don't talk.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah, so it's still very much more stereotyping characters and moments, and in the story. And Mark Wahlberg wasn't bad. He basically played a character that was a scientist that was trying to raise his daughter, and I don't know, man. I'd say watch it at least once. Yeah. Because you can probably catch it online somewhere. Even if I don't know if it's on Netflix. I think it might be on Hulu. Okay. To catch it, but it's definitely not something that I would want to go. I don't have a rewatch value with that one at all. Okay. Okay. I rewatched the first one, and that's pretty much it. And I don't rewatch the Turtles at all. So.
Well, real quick, before we wrap it up, I definitely want to get. Your thoughts on, we were talking about marketing and as far as movies are concerned, the one thing that I feel like, the one movie so far that I feel like they've gotten the marketing done brilliantly, that's coming out is Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
Now, hoping to the universe above him saying that the movie is as good as the marketing, but so far, what what are you geeking out over the Deadpool that you see so far? Like, what are your thoughts on Deadpool?
110%, man. 110%. I've been waiting for that for a while. And that's a character that you can't put it at a PG-13 rating.
Yeah.
You have to put it at a hard R, if not NC-17. I don't know if they're going to go all the way with NC-17 or if they release a director's cut later.
Yeah.
But that character the character was never built for children per se. It was very much a brief character that was placed in X-Force. Was created by Rob Liefeld back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it was created solely as a motivator to move those little characters along a little bit with being associated with Wolverine and the X Factor and being that type of character, Weapon X. But as he progressed, the comics have become more adult in some areas.
Yeah.
And they've tried to really take that humor in different ways. And you can't have someone like Ryan Reynolds, who is basically Deadpool. That guy is Deadpool. I mean, every part of him is Deadpool. And keep it watered down, just so that you can make a lot of money off of it because you can get it to everybody. You're reaching out to a large wallet of adults who have been dying to see a movie like this.
Exactly.
And I think they're doing a great job with it. And on top of it, it's going to have my favorite X-Men in it. People don't really know this, but my favorite X-Men is not the cliche Wolverine, which we know Wolverine's awesome. I know he's great.
Yeah.
But my favorite X-Men is Colossus.
Yes.
We don't get to see him. We didn't get to see him right in the X-Men movies. He was really kind of not used properly.
Exactly.
But we're getting a full-on, proper-looking Colossus in the Deadpool movie, and apparently he's going to be in the movie more than 10 minutes. He's going to be in it a lot longer and at the side of Deadpool. So nice. I'm really looking forward to that. So
yeah, I mean, this so far that I've seen on the marketing, this has nothing to do with merchandising. Like you can tell just from the little bit of the trailers, the sneak peeks. This is not a merchandising. We're gonna get your money on toys situation. They're definitely marketing this as a movie for those people who know Daredevil, or I'm sorry, not Daredevil, Deadpool, and for those who don't know Deadpool. You know what I'm saying? But this is definitely marketed as an adult comic movie, from what I've seen so far. Not. We're going to take your kids' money, then have, Deadpool toys all over the place movie. Which is awesome. Like you said, Ryan Reynolds, I mean, did you see the one he did, was it the Christmas one? The
eggnog?
Yeah, they've got so much viral stuff on the internet. It's ridiculous.
I did see that one, yeah.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. The Halloween one, where he had all the kids dressed up as X-Men. And he's cursing at the little kids, like he's calling them names. Like it was, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like this is awesome. And it was actually Ryan Reynolds in the suit. Like it was really him in the suit. It wasn't some dude they got to dress up and they just like lipped Ryan Reynolds in afterwards. It was him in the suit. So he's going above and beyond. Like he's in it. Like he's going in the suit. It's not some other dude. He's not phoning it in. This is really him. He's really getting into this character like big time. So, wow. Like I'm very intrigued as to what they're gonna do and or how it's gonna play itself out. I almost feel like there's no way it can fail. To be honest, because I feel like they put so much heart into it that it just can't. fail.
I don't think it's gonna fail. If it does fail at any level, it's still not gonna destroy that character. They're gonna still have enough people appreciating what it was, that they're going to keep it going. I mean, the fact that they had Fantastic Four do so bad that they scrubbed Fantastic Four 2 in order to start prepping Deadpool 2 in production already says a lot for where they think this character's going to go. So.
Now, like you said, I think if it doesn't work, I think it's going to be like what you were saying. It's going to all boil down to story.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. He's there. You're going to have Colossus there. You know what I'm saying? I think all the people are in place. I think and it looks like visually it's going to be right. I think what it's going to boil down to is the story going to suck or is it going to be a good story? And that's what's going to make it or break it at this point.
Well, I think what they're very lucky with this character is that this character knows that he's in a movie. This character knows he's a comic character.
Yeah.
They're playing it from an angle where this character does not take himself seriously.
Yeah.
He realizes that he's a comic book character.
Yeah.
And that is not a movie that's been done before in that way. That the executives and the producers had to say, well, we've got to walk this line because we have to make it believable because it's not a comic, it's a movie.
Yeah.
This character knows that all, so they don't have those restraints. that you normally would.
Yeah, I was watching one of my favorite shows that I watch pretty much every day, every morning when I get up and go to work is Collider Movie Talk. And one of the things they were saying is one of the biggest things that they do in this movie is they break the fourth wall. And they do it on all the trailers, they do it on all the viral stuff that they put out. And, from the looks of it, they'll continue to do that into the movie, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? Where he's constantly talking to the camera. I don't know if it was the Christmas one, but where he was talking to the camera, and I forgot who it was was in the scene with him, and they're like, "Who are you talking to?" Because he's constantly talking to the camera. You know what I'm saying? The other person's like, "Who are you talking to?" So it's like that's part of the cool, like the funniness of it, and I can see that being in the movie where he's constantly talking to the camera. And people are like, who the hell is this guy talking to? You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the, like you said, it doesn't take itself serious, so it allows it gives it so much more room to breathe versus something that would be so much like more rigid, and as far as the movie's concerned. So, yeah, man, that looks like, when is that movie coming out again? It's next year, right?
Next year, yeah. Yeah, I forget exactly the date. I'm just to show, I guess, how much of a fan I guess I am going back on it, but let's see here. Deadpool's coming out in, I want to say May. Let's see here.
February 12th.
February, okay. I was completely running all board. That's good.
February 12th. So,
no, I mean, there's so many movies coming out, man. It's hard to keep track now. Yeah. There really is so many superhero movies coming out.
Yeah, there's next year is going to be insane with the amount of stuff that they're, pulling out. I mean, we're going to get back together again. We're going to have another get together because we got a lot to talk about. I think our conversations will definitely end up revolving a lot around comics and comic TV and comic movies. There's a lot to talk about. I mean, we haven't touched base on Doctor Strange. We haven't touched base on the Avengers Civil War. I mean, there's a lot that we can touch base on. We could probably sit here and talk for 3 hours. But
true.
So we'll definitely come back together and we'll do another one because there's definitely more I want to talk about. But I want to thank you for sitting with me, man, and talking. I mean, it's always a pleasure, man. We like I said, we get together and we talk, and the time goes and it just disappears. But I appreciate you taking time out to sit with me and join me on this little project that I'm doing. And we will get together again, and we'll do it again very soon. Real quick, again, plug your stuff and your websites or whatever so people can check you out.
Certainly. Well, everyone can see my work as well as my wife's work on the artofravenwolf.com. That's, of course, Art of Raven, R-A-V-E-N, Wolf, W-O-L-F.com. But if you want to find just my work alone, you can go to www.facebook.com/artofdrawsome, D-R-A-W-S-O-M-E, and you're going to find some of my rantings and ravings in the art world on a piece of paper. So.
Yes, and they also do commissions. So if you guys want to, hit them up for commission work, please feel free to do that because their stuff is awesome. And website building, because Graven does a lot of websites as well. So if you guys need any websites out there, and a lot of people do nowadays, feel free to hit them up through their page and check out their work. So yeah, thank you, Sir Graven of Ravenwolf.
It's a pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
My brother, kindred spirit. We will talk again very soon. And to those people who are listening, thank you for listening, especially this long. It's been an hour and 30 minutes. So thank you very much for listening through the whole way through. And we will come back together and we will do some more with Graven. So tune in again to #CASTRADIO. My name is Rick, and we will leave you on that note. Thank you very much, everybody. Peace out.